one where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on in the news, what's the trending topic. We might do hot topics or we might just do what's covered here. So like the videos you guys come in, subscribe to the page, turn on your notifications, hit the like button as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. So let's get into the news and what's being talked about, what's going on. Allow me a few moments to turn on my notification so we can get started. But like the videos you guys come in, thanks for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my disclaimer and then we'll definitely get started. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I hope everyone's having a great morning. I am. Let's see. All comments are allegedly. Just give me a second. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. So let's get straight into the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great morning. Let's go.
Energy group, a group of very strong energy people who said we hit $1.99 a gallon in 3 different states, and it's an amazing accomplishment because the gasoline prices are coming down. When gasoline comes down, everything, it's such a big category that when gasoline comes down, sort of everything sort of follows, but we inherited a mess, affordability, but you can call it affordability or anything you want, but the Democrats caused the affordability problem, and we're the ones that are fixing it. So it's a very simple statement. They caused it, we're fixing it, and they have a tendency to just say this election's based on affordability, and nobody questions them, John. You know, nobody says, "Oh, well, what do you mean by that?" But they just say the word. They never say anything else because they caused the problem, but we're fixing the problem. And we're pleased to be joined today by many of the wonderful members of the farming community, as well as the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Thank you very much, Scott. Senator John Boozman. Thank you, John. Good job. John Hoeven. Thank you, John. And Deb Fischer. Thank you very much. As well as Representative Austin Scott, who's been with us right from the beginning. Thank you, Austin. Good job. I'm delighted to announce this afternoon that the United States will be taking a small portion of the hundreds of billions of dollars we receive in tariffs. We are making a lot of money from countries that took advantage of us for years. They took advantage of us like nobody's ever seen. Our deficits are way down because of tariffs. I guess because of the election. Because without the election, you wouldn't have tariffs. You'd be sitting here losing your shirt. But we're taking in billions. We're really taking in trillions of dollars, if you think about it, Scott, because the real numbers, you know, when you think of all the money being poured into the country for new auto plants and all of the other things, AI. So what we're doing is we're taking a relatively small portion of that, and we're going to be giving and providing it to the farmers in economic assistance. And we love our farmers, and as you know, the farmers like me, because you know, based on voting trends, you could call it voting trends or anything else, but they're great people. They're the backbone of our country. So we're going to use that money to provide $12 billion in economic assistance to American farmers. $12 billion is a lot of money, Meryl. What do you think? Peanuts for you, though, right? Peanuts. She's a farmer of rice.
Hey guys, we
like the video, like the videos, you guys come in.
This relief will provide much needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops, and it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families. And again, we inherited something that we inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and we're taking care of it. Farmers are an indispensable national asset, part of the backbone of America. I've always felt it so strongly. They're so important. Unfortunately, under Sleepy Joe Biden, he was a sleepy guy. Farmers were crushed by the worst inflation in modern history and crippling restrictions on energy, water, and countless other necessities for farmers. And what they did to the farmer in terms of putting the brakes on was just absolutely unacceptable. In my first term, we had an agricultural trade surplus by a lot. We had a big surplus, meaning we were exporting American agricultural products all over the world, making a net profit. and in many cases a very substantial profit. He came in and ruined it. Biden turned that surplus into a gaping agricultural deficit that continues to this day, but we're knocking it down. It's starting to go very good. In fact, China, as you know, is buying a tremendous amount of soybeans, and the number, I spoke with President Xi recently, very recently, and I think he's going to do even more than he promised to do. So I think the relationship is a very good one. I think he's going to do more than he promised to do, and what he promised to do is a lot. So we're very happy with that. In the last year, Biden bankruptcies rose by 55%, having to do with farms. So farm bankruptcies under Joe Biden went up 55%. That's not good. But now we're once again in a position where a president is able to put farmers first. But unfortunately, I'm the only president that does that. On day one, I terminated the Green New Scam. Energy prices are down. Gasoline prices are down. We've slashed record numbers of crippling regulation. We're working on huge trade deals already, securing $60 billion in agricultural purchase commitments. And, you know, Biden made none. He didn't make any trade deals having to do with the farmers or any of it. It's crazy. China committed, he was the worst president in the history of our country, by the way, in case anybody has any questions. China committed to over $40 billion of soybean purchases, and that's a commitment. And I asked President Xi if he could even up it. And I think he'll do that. I mean, the commitment, the $40 billion is a commitment, but the soybean farmers are quite happy. Since my successful meeting in South Korea with President Xi, purchases have been made and soybeans are being exported out of the United States to China as we speak. And I say that our soybeans, I told this to President Xi, our soybeans are more nutritious than competitors. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? In fact, you know who asked me that question? President Xi asked me that question. He said, really, I had never heard of it. And he was a food purchaser for a long time. But that's what I hear. And Japan agreed to $8 billion in purchases of corn, soybeans, ethanol, fertilizer, aviation, biofuel, and rice. You know, Japan never bought rice from anybody else. It's like a very important thing to them. And they agreed to buy rice, okay?
Absolutely.
So I also proudly signed into law the largest tax cuts in history, and the one big, beautiful bill, the monumental tax relief bill that is benefiting very, very strongly benefiting the American farmer. And I think also for farmers, we have, as you know, and we got this, the estate tax, or the death tax, as they call it, on farmers or small businesses. You don't have to pay it anymore. A lot of farms, when you love your children, and your children are great, and they want to be farmers, you leave the farm with your children, and a lot of farms are, you know, sort of cash poor, land-rich cash poor. And the kids would go to the local bank or to any bank and they'd borrow money to pay the estate tax, and they'd end up losing the farm. They go bankrupt. And a lot of debt, too. You know, literally, because they love their farm and they love their business and they love that way of life, they end up committing suicide.
Dot.
We have no more estate tax. How about that? Do you have children?
I do.
Well, let them know. Now, if you love your children, then it's good. If you don't love your children, you don't have to leave anything. It doesn't matter what I just said.
They're still young. I still
I have
love
a
them.
feeling you love
I still love them.
I have a feeling you love your children. But the estate tax is a very big thing, so you don't have estate tax. You die, you leave your farm or whatever, or small business to your children, you don't have to pay estate tax. It seems to affect the farmer more than anybody else. Because you can have a farm that's very valuable, therefore you have to pay a big tax, but it's not a big value in terms of cash. Maximizing domestic farm production is a big part of how we will make America affordable again and bring down grocery prices for American families. And again, these are prices that we inherited. When I left, we were incredible. In 4 years, what they've done to this country in so many, not even mentioning the border and the criminals allowed into our country and all of that. So I just want to say it's a tremendous honor being with you. I'd now like to ask Secretary Rollins to provide some of the details, followed by Secretary Bessent, Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, Senator Boozman, Representative Scott, and then we go to a couple of the representatives, but we'll all get involved a little bit. You can speak. Anybody is shy to speak in front of the press, and I don't blame you if that's the case, but farmers, Court Hollop and Merrill Kennedy will say a few words also, and then we'll have a little discussion, okay? Madam Secretary.
Thank you to the greatest boss in the world for a long time now. It's just an honor to be here. I'm going to keep my comments very short because I really want to make sure that you and the world gets to hear from our farmers. So a couple of quick points. Number one, this country and our farm economy is facing a crisis that we inherited that most of these farmers have not seen in their lifetime. Profitability is down. It's just one crisis after another. When we came into office, sir, when you did, and you were sworn in on January the 20th, as you mentioned, not one new trade deal had been struck in 4 years. The cost of inputs for our farmers, fertilizer up 36%, manual labor up 47%, interest rates up 73%. When you combine the cost of inputs for our farmers, married to no new trade deals, and then you're facing an administration whose priorities were DEI, climate change, putting the farmer aside. I mean, it was an absolute war on agriculture and on our rural communities. That all changed on January 20th. So as, sir, we are working, and you have been just so resolute. I mean, these are our people. Rural America is the fabric of our country. This is the way of life that preserves the American dream for the next 250 years as we celebrate the first 250 years. So we began to go to work immediately. What these elected officials sitting across from us did with the One Big Beautiful Bill, with a lot of help and direction from you, was the largest investment in rural America in any of our lifetimes. We will begin to see that effectuated next year in 2026. As we have fought to bring input costs down, you have talked about it. Even this weekend did an executive order, signed one, on looking into the reason that so much of these costs have been driven up over and over. Equipment, again, fertilizer, seed, et cetera, et cetera. We have to make sure we understand why that is. And then the continuing of the additional trade deals across the world. And no longer will America be held and beholden to the regime of other countries' tariff infrastructure. Instead, we are moving our products out across the world. Having said that, and we have been listening to the farmers for the last 10 months, 11 months, sir, that the bridge that is needed to get from the last administration and what basically happened under the last president and the last U.S. Department of Agriculture to this new golden age for farmers, where instead of farming for government checks, they can farm to feed their family and sell their products and pass it on to the next generation, that this bridge is absolutely necessary based on where we are right now. So as the president said, we are very pleased to announce that today we are going to be effectuating an $11 billion bridge payment to our farmers. The money will move by February 28th of 2026, but by the end of this month, so just in the next couple of weeks, every farmer that is able to apply for it will.
Yes, thank you for telling them to hit the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from.
Know exactly what that number looks like. So as you are going to your lender, as you are working to ensure and understanding what you can plant for next year, you will have that number in hand. And we will continue to talk to our farmers, continue to understand exactly what this looks like and what is necessary. The final thing I'll say is, well, we're holding $1 billion back. So today we are announcing $11 billion. We are holding $1 billion back just to ensure that we are covering. So today's announcement covers all of our row crops, but some specialty crops and others that we are still working with to best understand where they are in the farm economy and ensure that we're making every forward-moving position that we need to. And then finally, as we move to this new golden age for agriculture and for rural America, as we continue to fight for these farmers and ranchers, their way of life, and those that are represented here represent hundreds of thousands of farmers across this country. Just know that this president, I have never been around anyone who every time we talk, he asks, how are my farmers? Every single time. So we will never stop fighting. We will make sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure the next 250 years is just as bright, if not brighter, than the last. So thank you, sir.
Brooke. Thank you. And this money would not be possible without tariffs. The tariffs are taking in, hundreds of billions of dollars that we're giving, some up to the farmers because they were mistreated by other countries for, I don't know, maybe right reasons, maybe wrong reasons. They weren't. They were trying to show us something, and it's really worked out really well. But because of the tariffs, this is possible. The other thing I'd like to add before going to Scott, and I think it's very important, we're going to also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with hundreds, thousands of acres, and I buy a lot of stuff. And you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work, and it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment, which is going to reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it, and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive. And a lot of the reason is because they put these environmental excesses on the equipment, which don't do a damn thing except make it complicated, make it impractical. And you really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower. So we're going to take that off, that crap off that they put on, but Biden mostly. And we're going to take that off. So that's going to make that'll bring down the equipment prices a lot.
That's right.
And we're going to do that immediately. You're going to work with Lee Zeldin, who's not here, is doing a fantastic job, and Lee is going to work that out. And that would be most of it. It's crazy. The machines, they're always under repair because they're so complicated that you can't fix them. The old days you used to fix it yourself. Now you can't do that. You have to be a PhD from, let's say, MIT. Okay, so we're going to get that done. Scott, please go ahead.
Good. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the farmers to join us today. And I will tell all of you here that when either in person or when we are on a call with President Xi, the first thing the president asking for is more soybean purchases.
That's right.
We don't talk about geopolitics. We don't talk about trade. It's about soybean
We don't even
purchases.
say hello. We immediately start.
It's true.
To start with the soybean, please.
Could you do a little? It's always could you do a little more? So, and I think President Xi has heard President Trump. This group represents an American way of life that has fed our nation in its spirit for hundreds of years. You are the caretakers of the most productive agricultural country on earth. You drive hundreds of billions of dollars in exports, support millions of jobs, and keep America's economy running strong. And this administration is committed to keeping it that way. By putting farmers first, President Trump is ushering in a new golden age for agriculture. The president's $11 billion relief package for America's farmers comes at a critical time. These direct payments will give producers the breathing room they need to market this year's harvest and plan for next season. This serves as a liquidity bridge during a period of adjustment, supporting the strongest agricultural sector in the world. And this, the president's success in reining in Biden-era inflation, thanks to the administration's pro-growth policies, input costs like fuel, fertilizer are easing, and credit conditions are improving, interest rates are coming down, helping farmers prepare for the next harvest. President Trump scored a massive victory for America's farmers when he secured an arrangement with President Xi and Busan to reopen China's markets to U.S. agricultural exports, especially soybeans, sorghum, and other commodities. Under this framework, China committed to purchase at least 12 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans this growing season, followed by a minimum of 25 million tons annually for the next 3 years. And it's not just China. At the president's direction, Treasury, UST, and the Department of Commerce have secured supplemental purchases of U.S. agricultural goods and major trade agreements across the world to open new markets to America's farmers. The One Big Beautiful Bill also delivered transformative benefits for America's small farmers. It locked in full expensing for farm equipment and 100% expensing for farm structures built during the president's term. I believe Representative Scott and a group in the House, we were originally just going to do facts, and they called us and said, you need to do farm structures too, and the president said, we're all in. And it extended and enhanced much-needed relief for the punishing death tax, giving family farms greater certainty as they plan for the next generation. Mr. President, thank you for...
Let's continue with this interview I wanted to hear. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to a very special episode of The Conversation. I just wrapped up an interview with President Donald Trump here at the White House. We spoke for about 45 minutes about the site. Welcome to a very special...
Hold on.
And sir, there is no question that you are having a seismic impact on the continent and its politics. One of the most pressing issues in Europe right now is the war between Russia and Ukraine. Your team has been going back and
I
forth.
wouldn't say one. I would say the most.
The most, you're right. Your team has been going back and forth between Putin and Zelensky with various drafts of a peace deal. Which country right now is in the stronger negotiating position?
Well, there can be no question about it. It's Russia. It's a much bigger country. It's a war that should have never happened. Frankly, it wouldn't have happened if I were president, and it didn't happen for 4 years. I watched that taking place, and I said, wow, they're going to cause some problems here. And it started, and it could have evolved into World War III, frankly. I think it's probably not going to be happening now. I think if I weren't president, you could have had World War III. I think you would have had a much bigger problem than you have right now. But right now, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for Europe, and they're not handling it well.
Last night you said that you weren't sure if President Zelensky was fine with the most recent proposal, that he isn't ready. I was hearing from your advisors around Thanksgiving that they thought this thing might be wrapped up by the end of the holiday, but it's still not done. Is Zelensky responsible for the stalled progress, or what's going on there?
Well, he's got to read the proposal. He hasn't read
The most
it yet.
recent draft.
That's as of yesterday. And maybe he's read it over the night. It would be nice if he would read it. You know, a lot of people are dying, so it would be really good if he'd read it. His people loved the proposal. They really liked it. His lieutenants, his top people, they liked it. But they said he hasn't read it yet. I think he should find time to read it.
Is it time for Ukraine to hold an election, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a long time. It hasn't been doing particularly well. Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's an important time to hold an election. You know, they're using war not to hold an election, but I would think the Ukrainian people would, should have that choice, and maybe Zelensky would win. I don't know who would win, but they haven't had an election in a long time. You know, they talk about a democracy, but it gets to a point where it's not a democracy anymore.
On Sunday, your son, Donald Trump Jr., responded to a reporter's question about whether you will, quote, walk away from Ukraine. And your son said, I think he may. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct, but it's not exactly wrong. We have to, they have to play ball if they don't read agreements, potential agreements. It's not easy with Russia because Russia has the upper hand, and they always did. They're much bigger, they're much stronger in that sense. I give Ukraine I give the people of Ukraine and the military of Ukraine tremendous credit for the bravery and for the fighting and all of that.
Good morning. Good morning. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Thanks for being here. Let's continue.
But, at some point, size will win generally, and this is a massive size. You take a look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers are just crazy. This is not a war that should have happened. This is a war that would have never happened if I were president. It's so sad. Millions of people are dead. Many, many soldiers. Last month they lost 27,000 soldiers and some people from missiles being launched into Kiev and other places. But what a sad thing for humanity. This doesn't affect us. Our country is no longer paying any money. It was just Biden giving $350 billion so stupidly. And, if he wouldn't have given it, maybe something else would have happened. But Putin had no respect for Biden. And he had no respect for Zelensky. Didn't like Zelensky. They really hate each other. And part of the problem is they hate each other really a lot, And it's very hard for them to try and make a deal. It's harder than most. I 8 wars. And this, I would have said, this is the 9th. This would have been the easiest one I would have said, or one of the easier ones. I mean, I settled one that was going on for 36 years. I settled Pakistan and India. I settled so many wars. I'm very proud of it. And I do it pretty routinely, pretty easily. It's not hard for me to do. It's what I do. I make deals. This one is tough. One of the reasons is the level of hatred between Putin and Zelensky is tremendous.
And you're right, you're not spending money, but you are spending your time and your energy on this.
I want to stop saving, I want to stop seeing people killed.
If this deal, if Zelensky rejects this deal, is there a timeline? Is there a point at which you say, okay?
Well, he's going to have to get on the ball and start accepting things. When you're losing, because you're losing.
Do you think Ukraine has lost this war?
Well, they've lost territory long before I got here. They lost a whole strip of seafront, big seafront. I mean, you look at the maps. I've been here for 10 months, but you go back 10 months and take a look. They lost that whole strip. It's now a bigger strip. It's a wider strip, but they lost a lot of land, and it's very good land, too, that they lost. You certainly wouldn't say it's a victory. I could show you a chart. It's a lot of land they lost.
It's a lot of land. I think
think of it. If our election wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election now, everyone knows. It's going to come out over the next couple of months too loud and clear because we have all the information here. But if the election wasn't rigged and stolen, you wouldn't even be talking about Ukraine right now.
The resounding consensus in Europe right now is that they want to keep supporting Ukraine until they can win this war.
Until they drop, yeah.
Is that realistic in your view?
I mean, look, then they should support it. Europe I'm friendly with all of them. I mean, I like all of them. I have no real enemy. I've had a couple that I didn't like over the years. I actually like the current crew. I like them a lot. But and I know them very well. I know them really well. Some are friends, some are okay. I know the good leaders, I know the bad leaders, I know the smart ones, I know the stupid ones. You get some real stupid ones too. But they're not doing a good job, Europe. It's not doing a good job in many ways. They're not doing a good job.
I want to ask
They
you
talk
about
too
that.
much. And they're not producing. We're talking about Ukraine. They talk, but they don't produce. And the war just keeps going on and on. I mean, 4 years now it's been going on, long before I got here. This is not my war. This is Joe Biden's war. And in terms of America, it's a very sad thing. And the only reason I really care about it is because I hate to see young, beautiful people being killed. That's largely why I got involved. I mean, if you look at the Congo and Rwanda, that's been going on. 14 million people at least killed. Nobody has any idea how many, but killed. Machetes, a lot of machete killings, vicious. But if you look at the wars, and some of the wars that I said really were going to be millions and millions of people. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said I saved millions of people by getting involved with stopping India and Pakistan from fighting.
I do want to go back to Europe for a moment, though, because you said they're not doing a lot of things right in your view. And just
Well,
last,
they can't be doing do right because look what's happened.
well, your administration just released a new national security strategy that sent shockwaves throughout Europe. The strategy says a key pillar of American foreign policy should be, quote, cultivating resistance to Europe's current trajectory within European nations. How much should European leaders prepare for your administration to push to reshape the continent's politics?
Well, Europe is a different place.
What do you mean
And
by
if it
that?
keeps going the way it's going, Europe will not be, in my opinion, many of those countries will not be viable countries any longer. Their immigration policy is a disaster. what they're doing with immigration is a disaster. We had a disaster coming, but I was able to stop it. You know, we have no people coming through our borders now. Zero, 7 months. I mean, who would believe zero for millions of people? In some cases, millions of people a month, but millions of people to no
That's
people.
not what Europe looks like.
The opposite, yeah. No, Europe, they're coming in from all parts of the world, not just the Middle East. They're coming in from the Congo. Tremendous numbers of people coming from the Congo. And even worse, they're coming from prisons of the Congo and many other countries. And for some reason, they want to be politically correct, which actually I think is the opposite of politically correct, but politically correct, and they don't want to send them back to where they came from. And Europe is, if you take a look at Paris, it's a much different place. I loved Paris. It's a much different place than it was. If you take a look at London, you have a mayor named Khan. He's a horrible mayor. He's an incompetent mayor, but he's a horrible, vicious, disgusting mayor. I think he's done a terrible job. London's a different place. I love London. I love London. And I hate to see it happen. You know, my roots are in Europe, as you know.
Right.
And I hate to see that happen. This is one of the great places in the world, and they're allowing people just to come in and unchecked, unvetted.
So how involved are you going to get? I mean, could we see you getting involved in European
I want to run
elections,
the
for
United
example?
States. I don't want to run Europe. I'm involved in Europe very much.
Might you endorse
NATO calls me
candidates?
daddy. I mean, I have a lot to say about it. Look, I raised, you know, the GDP from 2% to 5%. The 2% they weren't paying and the 5% they are paying. And they're paying it because when we send things over, NATO pays for it, and I assume they give it to Ukraine. But Europe is being destroyed.
Would you consider getting involved in some of those elections to put in leaders that you think are better suited?
Well, I've endorsed people, but I've endorsed people that a lot of Europeans don't like. I've endorsed Viktor Orban. I endorsed, go back to South America, Latin America, South America, Milei, Argentina. He was losing in the election, and I endorsed him, and he won in a landslide.
Yeah, with Viktor Orban, beyond endorsing, he recently said that you promised him access to U.S.-backed financial shield worth up to $20 billion. Is that right?
No, I didn't promise him, but he certainly asked for it. But
Would you consider giving that to him?
I just think he's doing a very good job in a different sense on immigration. His country's landlocked. You know, he's got a different kind of a country. He doesn't have the sea, so he can't have ships coming in with energy. He's got a big pipe coming in from Russia. They've had it for a long time. It's a different situation he's got.
So would you consider
But
some
one thing-
Please like the video. Please like the video. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Please continue to subscribe as well. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
financial
One thing he has
assistance
really,
there?
he's really gotten right is the immigration, because he allows nobody in his country. And Poland has done a very good job in that respect too. But most European nations, they're decaying. They're decaying.
You can imagine some leaders in Europe are a little freaked out by what your posture is, and
No,
European.
they should be freaked out by what they're doing to their countries. They're destroying their countries.
Well, European Council
and they're
President.
people I like. Look, they're people I like. I get along with them. You know that. But they can't let this happen. And it gets to a point where you can't really correct it. There'll be a point, and it's very close to that
And
point.
what will that mean?
It will mean that they're no longer going to be strong nations.
Does
Or
that mean
they'll
they won't be allies?
Or they'll be, well, it depends, you know, it depends. They'll change their ideology, obviously, because the people coming in have a totally different ideology. But it's going to make them much weaker. They'll be much weaker, and they'll be much different.
And what will that mean for our
I mean,
relationship
look at your
with them?
mayor of London. He's a disaster. He's a disaster. He's got a totally different ideology of what he's supposed to have. And he gets elected because so many people have come in and they vote for him now because, you know, it's like, it's one of those things. But I hate what's happened to London, and I hate what's happened to Paris. I hate when I see it.
You know, sir, it's sometimes hard to tell when you say these things. Do you intend to send kind of a message of tough love to our allies to push them to make reforms, or do you think that many of them are just weak and you don't really want to be allies with them?
I think they're weak, but I also think that they want to be so politically correct. I think they don't know what to do.
Good morning, Houston. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Europe doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do on trade either. I mean, I look at a lot of the trade, you know, situation that's going on over there. It's a little bit dangerous, but Europe, they want to be politically correct, and it makes them weak. That's what makes them weak.
It sounds like you want to see some pretty massive changes.
Well, I think they should get the people out that came into the country illegally.
I want to ask about
You know, if
NATO.
you take a look at Sweden. So Sweden was known as the safest country in Europe, one of the safest countries in the world. Now it's known as a very unsafe, well, pretty unsafe country. It's not even believable. It's a whole different country.
In Sweden, most recently, NATO, one of the things that the national security strategy says is that the U.S. should work toward ending the perception and preventing the reality of NATO as a perpetually expanding alliance. Are there countries in NATO that you think shouldn't be in the alliance?
Well, I mean,
Sweden,
there
for
are
example?
countries that are difficult for NATO. Not that they shouldn't be. I think it's good to have them. Turkey's an example. Erdogan is a friend of mine. Whenever they have a problem with Erdogan, they ask me to call because they can't speak to him. He's a tough cookie. I actually like him a lot. I think actually, look, he's built a strong country, strong military, but they have a hard time dealing with him, and they ask me to call him. And I do call him, and I always work it out with him. He and I work it out really quickly. We had some people that he released that were taken and going through years and years of court cases and everything else. And I said, you got to release him, and he did. He is, very different than a lot of the other leaders, but they have a hard time with him. But they shouldn't really have a hard time.
Should NATO stop accepting new members? Should NATO end where it is now?
Well, there aren't that many left when you get right down to it, right? There aren't that many left. It was always, long before Putin, it was an understanding that Ukraine would not be going into NATO. This was long before Putin, in all fairness. And now they pushed, when Zelensky first went in and first met Putin, he said, I want two things. I want Crimea back, and we're going to be a member of NATO. He didn't say it in a very nice way either. He's a great salesman. I call him P.T. Barnum. You know who P.T. Barnum was, right?
I do.
One of the greatest on earth. He could sell any product at any time. That was his expression. I can sell any product at any time. It was true. He said, it doesn't matter whether it works or not. But he's P.T. Barnum. He got crooked Joe Biden to give him $350 billion. And look what it got. Got him about 25% of his country is missing. And in all fairness to Biden, Obama gave away Crimea.
And that'll happen in 2014.
Obama, because Crimea was the heart. I'm a real estate person at heart, right? I'm very good at real estate. And every time I look at that map, I said, this Crimea is so beautiful. Wow. It's surrounded on four sides by ocean. It's only got a little piece of land to get to, to the main, Crimea is massive. But it connects the part of Ukraine that we talk about now through a small little jetty. It's four sides of ocean in the warmest part. It's got the best weather, best everything. And I know you are Ukrainian, and you know Ukraine very well. And Obama forced them to give up Crimea. That was I remember when it happened, but I wasn't involved like I am now. The knowledge that I have now, I have great knowledge of Ukraine now. I have great knowledge of
really, this conflict began back in 2014. People forget, long before the invasion of a few years ago.
Well, when this conflict really began, though, it was simmering for years. But when Obama gave up Crimea, that was a big thing.
I do want to ask.
Do you agree with that? That was a big piece to give up. You are of Ukrainian descent.
That was a major. I remember, when I first moved to the United States, a lot of people didn't know what Ukraine even was, and it was in 2014 that people suddenly started to realize how significant geopolitically that area really is.
I just say, from the standpoint of beauty, weather, everything, Crimea is the warmest. It's just got such great potential. And Obama forced them. Obama did this. This is not Biden. Well, maybe he was involved, but I doubt it. He probably didn't know too much then either. He was never the brightest bulb. But, Obama gave away. He made them give it away.
Well, I do think your approach to Europe is so different than any of your predecessors. And
I just want to see a strong Europe.
And this national security strategy, says a lot about the changes that you want.
But you have to understand. Here's my approach to Europe. I want to see a strong Europe. When they allow millions of people to pour into their countries, many of these people are committing tremendous crimes. And again, look at Sweden. I'm not knocking Sweden. I love Sweden. I love the people of Sweden. But they go from a crime-free country to a country that has a lot of crime now. Look at Germany. Germany was crime-free, and Angela made two big mistakes: immigration and energy. But those two are beauties.
Well, one country that is with the change in strategy from the United States is Russia. A Kremlin spokesperson called the strategy document a, quote, positive step, and said the adjustments they're seeing are, quote, largely consistent with Moscow's vision. Do you think that's a good thing?
Well, I think he'd like to see a weak Europe. And so, to be honest with you, he's getting that. That has nothing to do with me.
But he thinks the changes that you're making and what you laid out in your vision for Europe is what Moscow wants to see.
I have no vision for Europe. All I want to see is a strong Europe. Look, I have a vision for the United States, America first. It's make America great again. I do explain to Europe because I think, I'm supposed to be a very smart person. I have eyes. I have ears. I have knowledge. I have vast knowledge. I see what's happening. I get reports that you will never see. And I think it's horrible what's happening to Europe. I think it's endangering Europe as we know it. Europe could be a whole different place.
Your
And I
impact,
think the European people should do something about it.
your impact does stretch far beyond Europe. I want to talk about another area where you're making your mark, which is in Venezuela. You've said that Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered and that the U.S. could soon strike Venezuelan territory. Could we see American troops on the ground in Venezuela?
I don't comment on that. I wouldn't say that one way or the other. I can say this, that he sent us millions of people, many from prisons, many drug dealers, drug lords, mental institution, people in mental institutions. He sent them into our country where we had a very stupid president. You know that. Biden's a low IQ person, especially nowadays. I mean, he was low IQ 30 years ago, but he was especially low IQ now. And what he did to our country is not good. Tren de Aragua, the gangs, one of the meanest gangs in the world.
You've locked down the border
No,
now.
he sent a lot of these people. He also sends in a lot of drugs. So we'll see how it all works out.
So
But
do you
I
want
can't talk about
So how
strategy.
far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
his days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man.
Well,
for
I'm
Europe, and I
asking
thought it was
for
appropriate.
transparency for their American people because a lot of folks are,
Transparency.
well, people are
I'll tell
wondering
you, I am
what
the
is,
most transparent politician maybe in the world.
a lot of folks are wondering what our goals are in
Sure, but I
Venezuela.
don't want to talk to you about military strategy.
Well, may I ask then, what is your goal in Venezuela? What do you want to see with the actions that you're taking?
Well, one goal is I want the people of Venezuela to be treated well. I want the people of Venezuela, many of whom live in the United States, to be respected. I mean, they were tremendous to me. They voted for me 94% or something. I mean, it's incredible. I own a big project, Doral. It's a great place, Doral Country
Been there.
Club. Yeah, and it's a very large place, beautiful place, right in the middle of. They call it Little Venezuela. And I got to know the Venezuelan people very well because of that. I've owned it for a long time, and they're unbelievable people. The area is such a successful area. Everybody is successful. It's amazing. They say if a house is for sale for more than 3 days, there's something wrong. I mean, a house, if somebody wants to sell the house, they sell it in just a matter of moments. People love the area, and I got to know the people well. They're incredible people, and they were treated horribly by Maduro.
And are those the kind of immigrants that you do want to see in America?
They certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
Speaking of ships, I do want to talk about the boat strikes. The defense secretary, should he?
Let's get the likes up, everyone. The likes should match the views. Please hit the like button. Thumb the video. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Testify, Pete Hegseth, under oath before Congress about that controversial second strike on the alleged drug boat on
I don't care
September
if he does.
2nd?
He can if he wants. I don't care.
Do you think he should?
I don't care. I would say do it if you want. He's doing a great job.
Have you watched the
he was
video?
stopping. I watched everything. Yeah, I watched everything. I've seen a lot of things.
And do you believe that
It's
that
not
second
pretty,
strike
but-
was necessary?
Well, it looked like they were trying to turn back over the boat, but I don't get involved in that. That's up to them. The admiral that did that is a highly respected, as you know, a highly respected man. And we save 25,000 people every time we knock out a boat. On average, they kill 25,000 Americans. So, I don't like doing that, but the drugs coming in through the sea they're down by 92%. And I'm trying to figure out the 8%. Who are they? Nobody wants to drive boats to America loaded up with drugs anymore.
Well, I do want to
And
ask
we're
you
going to
this.
hit them on land very soon, too.
Almost all the illicit fentanyl in the United States is actually produced in Mexico using precursor chemicals from China, according to the DEA. And Venezuela isn't a significant source or transit country for fentanyl. It barely appears on the DEA's trafficking assessments.
Yeah. Well, they do send lots of drugs. Those boats come in largely from Venezuela, so I would say that's a significant. And you can see the drugs. You can see these bags all over the boat. I mean, just bags
So if
and
it's
bags
about
and
drugs,
bags.
would you
But
consider?
let me tell you what they do. They send really, really bad people into our country, and they've done it better than anybody else. They emptied their prisons into our country, and these prisons are seriously tough. They entered, all of their prisons have been emptied into the United States of America. Murderers, 11,888
So is this about
murderers.
making sure
Oh, wait a
Maduro
minute.
sees justice then?
11,888 murderers were entered into our country. And Stupid Joe took all those people, and now we're getting them out. We're finding them. We found a lot of them, and we're getting them out, or we're putting them in jail. Some are so dangerous and so bad that we don't want to put them back to their country because they'll find a way to get back in. But these are stone cold murderers. But every time we knock out a boat, we save 25,000 American lives.
So would you consider doing something similar with Mexico and Colombia that are even more responsible for fentanyl trafficking
Yeah,
into the U.S.?
sure, I would.
You pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez and let him out of prison, even though he was convicted in a massive international drug trafficking scheme. How is that zero tolerance on drug trafficking?
Well, I don't know him, and I know very little about him, other than people said it was like a Obama-Biden type setup where he was set up. He was the president of the country. The country deals in drugs like probably you could say that about every country. And because he was the president, they gave him like 45 years in prison. And there are many people fighting for Honduras, very good people that I know, and they think he was treated horribly, and they asked me to do it, and I said, I'll do it.
Do you think that could send the wrong message to
No, I
drug
don't
dealers?
think so. Look, I think, when you weaponize government, they've weaponized their government just like they did over here. I'm one of the people that survived, but they weaponized the government. We have the most weaponized government. Our election was rigged. They went after me. I was impeached twice. I was indicted. They indicted me. I came out good. Here we are in the White House. Things are looking nice, but they were vicious, and they are vicious. They're sick people.
We've talked a lot about foreign policy. You've spent a ton of your first year focused on those conflicts around the world, and that has led to some concerns, even from your own supporters, that there hasn't been enough focus on some of the issues here at home. I know that this week you're going back out on the trail, giving me flashbacks of covering your rallies here. You're hitting the road to talk about the economy. I wonder, sir, what grade would you give your economy right now?
Before I answer that, let me just tell you something. I've watched stupid people like Marjorie Trader Green, or some people call her Taylor Green, some people call her Taylor Brown, because Green sometimes turns out nice. But I've watched her say that he spends too much time on foreign. Well, by doing that, and first of all, it doesn't take a lot of time. I made one trip. I brought back trillions of dollars on that one trip. I stopped in Japan. I stopped in South Korea. I met with President Xi and India.
You went to the Middle East. I was on that trip with you.
Went to the Middle East. I brought back $3 trillion from the Middle East. I sold many Boeing airplanes on that trip, like 100. When I go on a trip, I only have one place in mind. It's the United States. So when people with low IQs like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a low IQ person. When she says it's too, but she was a loyal person until I wasn't able to answer her phone calls because I'm just too busy to answer people's phone calls. You can't call me 3 times a day, and it's just not appropriate when I have over 200 congressmen, 53 senators, 212 countries. All of these people are calling, and a family. Actually, the family suffers. It's harder for me to call back the family. But when you think of what I've done, remember rare earth and the problem with magnets and all of these things that was going to shut down the whole world. I worked it out with President Xi. We have a good relationship. I worked it out with President Xi.
So
Very
that
favorable to the
does
United
come back
States.
to the economy
Wait a minute.
in the U.S., right?
You made a statement, though, that I devote too much time to outside of the United States. I've made a fortune for the United States by focusing.
To be clear, that's not my statement. That's just what some of your supporters and some others have said.
Well, then, I can't imagine their supporters because I made a fortune and spent very little time. All of my time is spent here. Most of my time is spent here. But when I do go outside, it's only going outside for here. For instance, settling and solving the problem with China. That has a huge effect in the United States. Making deals with Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, all of these countries, you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. So I guess I could say, let's not deal with anybody. We wouldn't have much of a country.
Well,
we wouldn't have much of an economy. We make a lot of money with these countries. Now, in the past, these countries all ripped us off. If you go back during Biden, if you go back during Obama, they were ripping us off like no country's ever been ripped off. That's why we owe $38 trillion. I mean, we owe it for a reason. But just remember, when we had a problem with China,
press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Please like the video as you guys come in. There's 56 people in the building. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Recently, I was able to work that out. You don't work that out by not talking to people, by not answering with the magnets, with the rare earth.
And you're looking to have an impact here back home.
Well, no, impact. We would have been shut down. China would have been shut down. The whole world would have been shut down. So wait a minute. So some people would say, don't focus on anything outside of our border. I like that too. But I've made trillions and trillions of dollars, and solve problems, and solved wars. Do you know most of the wars that I solved were solved sitting behind the Oval Office desk on a telephone? I think those are worthy phone calls, even if they didn't impact us to save millions of lives from another country, and if I can do that easily because I have an ability, are pretty good.
But I do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home, and I wonder what grade you would give
A
your
plus.
economy. A plus.
Yeah, A plus 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 plus.
Well, it's interesting because I talked to a supporter of yours. Her name is Melanie from Westmoreland County, PA, and she loves you. She gave you overall an A plus plus grade. But here's what she said about the economy. She said, quote, groceries, utility, insurance, and the basic cost of running small business keep rising faster than wages. She also says that not enough is being done. Mr. President, this is one of your supporters.
Okay, good. And I love her because you said I got an A plus on everything, I guess. I don't know. But
she's still worried about the economy.
But what you have to understand, the word affordability. I inherited a mess. I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high when I came in. Prices are coming down substantially. Look at energy. You and I discussed before the interview energy. Energy has come down incredibly. When energy comes down, everything, because it's so much bigger than any other subject, but energy has come down incredibly. Prices are all coming down. It's been 10 months. It's amazing what we've done. If you think of gasoline a gallon, they had it at $4.50, almost $5. You go to some of the states, you had it at $6. We hit 3 states 2 days ago. $1.99 a gallon. When that happens, everything comes down. Now, everything is coming down. With beef, I've just opened that up where beef is going to start coming down pretty
Would
substantially.
you consider more carve-outs on other goods that Americans find too expensive?
Well, some, you mean from tariffs?
From tariffs, yeah, like coffee, like
yeah,
bananas.
Sure, and I've done that already with coffee. They're very small carve-outs. It's not a big deal. But let me tell you about the real economy. We've got $18 trillion coming into our country. Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years, and he was heading south. Our country was falling apart. 18 trillion because of tariffs. $18 trillion is coming into our country. I think because of tariffs in November 5th election, if you want to know the truth. But
so would you rule out reducing tariffs on any more goods?
on some, and on some I'll increase tariffs. Because you know what happens is because of tariffs, all of the car companies are coming back. You know, we lost 58% of the automobile business. We had a monopoly on the world. We had everything. And because we had presidents that either weren't smart or didn't have business sense or their people didn't do a good job, they could have kept that. We could have kept the chip market. We had 100% of the chip market, Intel, all of these guys. You know, there's the thing. They came in to see me, Intel. They needed something to be done by the government. I said, I'm going to do it, but I think you have to give us 10% of your company. You know what happened? We made $40 billion on that deal. The price went through the roof. The United States, in about 10 minutes, I made $40 billion. Nobody talks about that.
I want to ask about interest rates because a lot of Americans agree with you that they're too high. You're going to pick a new Fed chair soon. Is it a litmus test that the new chair lower interest rates immediately?
Yes. Well, this guy too should too, but I think he's a combination of not a smart person and doesn't like Trump. But
so
the
you've
reason he
spoken
doesn't
with your
like
potential.
Trump, well, the reason he doesn't like Trump is because I hit him hard because he's doing a bad job.
So you've talked to your potential candidates.
We're fighting through interest rates. Look, he's a negative, but this country is doing so well. Again, we have $18 trillion being invested. Car companies are moving back that left us years ago. AI is coming in at levels never seen before. Factories are opening up all over the country. $18 trillion of investment in the United States. Again, with Biden, we would have lost $10 trillion, okay? 18, that's a record. You know, as a second record, China. China had 2 trillion. That's a lot, 2 trillion. We have $18 trillion. And that ultimately, you know what it reduces itself to? Jobs. You can have jobs like you've never seen in the United States.
Before I let you
And by
go.
the way, and prices are coming down. Just to talk about affordability. The Democrats love to say affordability, but then they never talk about it. They're the ones who gave us the high prices. I'm the one that's bringing them
Well,
down.
one of the biggest issues on affordability right now is health care. And Obamacare subsidies are set to expire in a couple of weeks, which will lead to higher prices for millions of Americans. I do wonder, Mr. President.
You said the word, Obamacare. Obamacare
Correct.
was conceived by Barack Hussein Obama, who knew nothing about health
But
care.
we're in the situation we're in now where those subsidies will expire. So I wonder, is letting those subsidies expire acceptable to you? And should Americans...
What I want on healthcare is very simple. Obamacare was set up for insurance companies to become rich, okay? That was why they, in my opinion, I think the Democrats did it for that reason. Do you know that insurance company stocks have gone up 16, 17, 1,800% over a short period of time? They've been paid trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. And what I'm saying is very simple. I don't want to pay them anything. No money for the insurance companies. Sorry, fellas, I know them all. No money for the insurance companies. I want to pay the money directly to the people and let the people get their own
Congress
health care.
hasn't put that
But
on
you know
the
who's
floor
fighting me
yet.
on that? The Democrats.
But in the meantime, I mean, 2 weeks, Mr. President, people will see those premiums go up. So will you tell Congress to extend those Obamacare subsidies while you
I
work
don't
out
know. I'm
another
going to
deal?
have to say, I'd like to get better health care. I'd like to have people buy their own health care, get much better health care. And what I want to do, very simple, I want to give the money to the people, not to the
So
insurance
right now,
companies.
people are buying their holiday presents. They're planning.
Look,
for...
don't be dramatic.
No, no.
Don't be
They're
dramatic.
planning their
Here's what I
budgets for
want to
next
do.
year.
Here's what I want to do. And what I want to do is help them.
So will
I
the
want to
premiums
give.
go up?
He said, don't be dramatic. Like the video. Like the video. The like should match the video. Please double tap the screen to get the likes up. Also hit subscribe. There's 79 people in the building. Please hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Don't be dramatic.
I want to give the money to the people to buy their own health care. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. The Democrats don't want to do that. They want the insurance companies to continue to make a fortune. The Democrats are owned by the insurance companies. The insurance companies to get this trillions of dollars. We spent trillions of dollars goes to the insurance companies. I want that money to go to the people and let the people go out and buy their own health care. It works like magic. But you know who doesn't want it? The Democrats, because they're corrupt people, because they're totally owned and bought by the insurance
So
companies.
at this point, most likely premiums will go up, and you will find another
Well,
plan.
your premiums could go down if you did what I want to do. I want to
gonna
give the
take
money.
time, sir.
Ready? I want to give the people better health insurance for less money. The people will get the money, and they're going to buy the health insurance that they want.
I want to talk about one last really important issue.
You know that works really well, right? And you know the Democrats don't want to.
Now, why can't the premium stay the same? Why do they have to go up if he's trying to make a change? Why does the premiums have to go up? Like the video, like the video.
Do it because they want the insurance companies to make all the money.
Immigration, sir, critical to your agenda. I want to ask about what the Pope has said, which is he has called your immigration actions inhumane. Do you take that seriously from the
I
Pope?
haven't seen that. I mean, maybe he has. I mean, he also didn't like the wall. You know, they didn't like the wall. The wall
Do you
turned
plan
out
to
be
meet
great.
or
You know, I
speak with
built
him?
a wall that stopped people from flooding. And I didn't put up the wall. I built the wall. The wall. Nobody talks about that. You know, it's interesting. 2 years ago, a year ago, under Biden, this country was out of control. Millions of people pouring through, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And now we have nobody coming in. We have them coming in only legally. They have to go through a legal process. Nobody ever talks about that anymore. They should talk about that. But I haven't heard any statements from the Pope. I'm sure he's a lovely man. His brother's a lovely man.
Yeah,
You know,
you've
his
spoken
brother.
to him.
You know, his brother is Sirius MAGA. Lives in Florida. He's
So will you meet with the other brother, with the Pope?
I already met with the brother. He
But
came
with the Pope, will you meet with him or
Sure,
speak with him?
Why not?
One more question on immigration. The Supreme Court is going to hear a case that could redefine who is here legally in the United States. I'm talking about the birthright citizenship case. If the court sides with you and ends birthright citizenship, are you going to try to take away citizenship from people who already have it?
Honestly, I haven't thought of that, but I will tell you this. The case is very interesting because that case was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the dates on the case, it was exactly having to do with the Civil War. That case was not meant for some rich person coming from another country, putting a foot in our country, and all of a sudden their whole family becomes, United States citizens. That case is all about slaves, the babies of slaves. And it was a good reason for doing it. And that's all it was about. And people now are understanding it. It's been explained to them, and I think the court understands it too. That would be a devastating decision if we lose that case.
That court,
Because our country cannot afford to house tens of millions of people that came in through birthright citizenship. When that happened, that was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the exact dates that it was passed, it all had to do with the Civil War and the ending of the Civil War. It's that little period of time. And people now are starting to understand
Do
it.
you want to see one of the justices on the Supreme Court retire so you can put in one more before the end of your term?
Well, the Democrats want to flood the court. You know,
Clarence Thomas is 77, Samuel Alito is 75. Do you want one more on there?
well, I hope they stay because I think they're fantastic. Okay, both of those men are fantastic.
Before I let you go, I want to ask.
I will say this: the Democrats want to pack the court. They want to have 21 justices. That would be a terrible thing for this country.
The future of the Republican Party. Look, I watched you on all of your campaigns pull together, especially in this last one, an unprecedented coalition to win the presidency. And you brought in so many new voters to the Republican Party, chipped away at some of the core bases of the Democratic Party. Is there anyone else in the GOP that can energize the coalition the way you did?
I hope so. I don't know. You never know until you test it. You know, it's like you jump in the water, you can swim or you can't. Some people can swim and some people can't. You never know. You have to see. I think we have a very good bench. I must tell you, we have a lot of good people. We have a great cabinet. I have a really great cabinet. Better than my first cabinet. I had some very good people in my first cabinet, but this cabinet, I have much more experience. When I first came to Washington, it was interesting. I didn't know anything about any of the people. I was a very successful guy from New York City, real estate and other things. I mean, I had a great show and a lot of things, but basically real estate. And by the way, I'm fixing up the White House, making it beautiful. I'm doing a great ballroom that they've tried to do for 150 years and all of that stuff. But you never know. Your question is such an interesting question. You never really know until they get tested. I hope so.
Mr. President. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go to this clip.
Just give it to your assistants. They can do that case. These people are crooks. They don't work. 91% unemployment. Okay? It's a scam. And it's headed up by the crooked president. Biden and the radical left Democrats turned Pennsylvania into a dumping ground for hundreds of thousands of migrants from the most dysfunctional places on earth, like Somalia, and gave them billions and billions of your taxpayer dollar. But we didn't really give it. It was stolen. And those people should go to jail. Jail. And if they don't go to jail, Scott Bessent is toast. He's toast. I'll tell you, that could be the easiest case. I think it's too easy for you. Just give it to your assistants. They can do that case. These people are crooks. They don't work. 91% unemployment. Okay? It's a scam. And it's headed up by the crooked congresswoman. Whatever happened to her brother, by the way? Is he still around? Is he still... Biden and the radical left Democrats
Next
turned
clip.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, he went low. He went low. He's not happy. Would you look into him too, Scott? Would you find out the brother, please? She said, "How dare you say that about me? It's discrimination." Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy. Thank you. We got a tremendous black vote. We got a tremendous Hispanic vote. We got a tremendous, because we speak the truth. They get it. Everybody gets it. Everybody, pretty much everybody gets it. Yeah, he went low.
Next
He went
clip.
low. He's not.
Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of hot topics, trending topics. We're going to see what's being talked about. Like the videos, you guys come in. So she's talking about Ray J. I'm going to play a little bit of it.
He has been with me for a long time. And Ray is just a person who is who he is,
Yes.
right?
And what does she mean that he's been with her for several years? Ray J's been even more out of control for the last 3 years. Is Ray J okay?
I love Ray. Ray has been with me for a long time. And Ray is just a person who is who he is,
Yes.
right? And that comes with a lot of misunderstanding.
Yes.
But I always say this, and I've said it to, just people and even my assistant and best friend here, that when you build a relationship with Ray, you start to get a clear understanding why the people who love him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just that genuine.
He's been through a lot, but he went too far with the Princess Love situation. Let's continue.
A man that when you are his person, like meaning someone he loves as
Yeah,
a friend or
yeah.
family, or me being his psychologist, doctor, he's loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And that man, he will turn a table over for you. Ray will move a mountain for you. And it's because he loves so hard. Honestly, and because he's so into that, I feel like sometimes the way that he shows it comes out very different than folks want to see it. And I just think that's what it boils down to. So, I just love Ray.
He's so ratchet on these reality shows.
Has been with me for a long time. And
Let's continue. Ray is ratchet, has been ratchet for the last several years. He went too far. You can't do XYZ in front of your children. You got to protect their innocence. So his sister is on tour. Why not focus the positive on that? Just last month, Ray J had a girl crying on the live stream. Then he had a situation. Princess Love brings the children over to try and have Thanksgiving with Ray, and he gets out of control. And he was allegedly saying he didn't want Princess Love to leave with the children if they were drinking or intoxicated, whatever the situation is. Why not you call the police? Why does the police have to be called on you? Because I get that he's allegedly saying he was trying to protect his kids from getting into a car, allegedly, with people that might have been drinking. 1 drinks, 2 drinks, who knows how many drinks it was. But he said he didn't want his kids to leave out because allegedly the people were drinking. He has stated, no one is able to drive with my children because all of y'all been drinking, allegedly. Well, if you know that they're at your house and they want to intake stuff, and maybe they did it at his house so he could live stream, here nor there. He had said last month he wanted to be around Princess Love and he wanted his family back. So then you get around your family and you do this. And she had told him, Ray, behave, because if you don't behave, she's going to leave. He had already knew that going in. So well wishes to Ray J, Princess Love. It's a hot mess. It's been a hot mess. When he pushed her in the pool years ago, it's been a back and forth for Ray J and Princess Love. And I don't know if he has a prenup either. Let's continue fair use reaction clip.
You know, when she goes on television, Fox, they dominate when she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop, up, like a little machine gun.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Let's continue with hot topics, trending topics. Trump is for Shador. Shador. He is saying that he's a great player. He sends out his congratulations. He said that he should have went higher in the draft. We've seen that. And I agree that he should have went higher in the draft. So, at least there's many people that have Shador's back. Remember, Shador had number 2, and then they changed his number to 12. So many people are happy with his first game. The second game was okay. And then the third game, he did pretty well, but then they took him out and put another player in. And they possibly could have won that game. And then it's being reported. Thanks for hitting the like, you guys. Continue to get the likes up. The likes should match your views. Continue to hit the like button, the thumbs up button. Thumbs up above the video, below the video. Just hit the thumbs up button. So then they were saying they took him out and they should have kept him in and they might have won that game. Now, if you're just now coming in, it is being reported that he is supposed to be the quarterback moving forward, allegedly. It was reported. I did a video on it. It's being reported that he's supposed to be the quarterback moving forward. I'm hoping that he does extremely well. I hope they set up the plays to help him succeed. I'm wondering how long he's going to be on this team, the Cleveland Browns. So I do shorts at night, showing videos in regards to Shador. So well wishes. And also, if you guys did not know, they're saying thong. He did not have a thong on. His back was taped. And I did a video on that too. His back was taped a certain way. And maybe the trainer did it on purpose. People are going to try and make him look a certain way. Even when he does press conferences, the different questions that he's asked, and he said, you want to trip me up, I'm not going to get tripped up. He always tries to say positive. So I really like Shador Sanders. His father is supporting him. His brother Shiloh is supporting him. His mom is supporting him. So well wishes. Let's get the likes up. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Let's continue fair use reaction clip. Okay, I can't play this clip, but we're going to talk about it. Okay, so I already listened to it just so I can understand. So right now they're asking Jello Ball what happened. And he basically saying he regrets being with the other young lady he just broke up with. And he said he wishes he would have stayed with Nikki Baby. And he has said his brother, the other Ball brother, had asked, what happened with you and Nikki? And he was basically stating that him and Nikki was going back and forth about where they were going to live. Should they move out of the country? He wanted to stay close to his family, her family. And he said he wishes he would have hung in there with Nikki Baby versus dating someone else. So then he started saying those 2 weeks or that month, he said 2 weeks. He said within those 2 weeks, he made a lot of alleged bad decisions. He got married. He was basically in a car, and she was alleged, the other young lady was pressuring him to get married. He said that they were at the courthouse. She was like, come on, get out. And he was basically almost in tears. And then they got married. He had said that if he could take those 2 weeks away, he would take him away, and he said he was just making bad decisions. Now, I don't know. Some people have stated he might be back with Nikki Baby, maybe, if she took him back. Maybe, maybe, maybe. That's all alleged, that he might be back with Nikki Baby. So men will get with a new girl, and sometimes she's pressuring them to do XYZ. And his brother had said, you seemed extremely happy, but I don't like, his brother did make that clear. He does not like what he did to Nikki Baby and how he treated her. He has 2 children with Nikki Baby, I think, and then he has 1 with the other young lady. So there's that. But definitely go over to listen to the video. And many people know the Ball brothers. They're extremely well known in regards to basketball, the Ball name. Jello is the one that had the situation several years ago when they were out of the country, and he took something, and then they had to try and get him out of the situation he was in. So he was on his way to doing great things, and it's unfortunate in regards to his decision making. Now, the other brother, there's Jello Mello, and Jello Mello, and there's another, I can't remember, but here nor there, everyone know the Ball brothers. So I don't know if they've recently started a podcast, and I don't know if that's all the Ball brothers. I'm trying to figure out who the other person is with the other hat. I don't know if that's the other brother, possibly. I don't know. But a lot of people are starting podcasts. So like the video, There's 14 likes. The likes should match the views. Please hit the like button. Let's continue. I guess they were eliminated out of...
Cleveland Browns need to do this offseason now that their season is over. The first thing the Browns need to do, in my opinion, is address their offensive withdrawal.
Okay, so there's that. Okay, so this is Jello's baby that allegedly she's stating that he has not met. So he's going to have to figure that out. He's probably going to have to pay, I don't know, he's probably going through divorce. I don't know if he's getting the divorce annulled. But this is the baby that Jello created, and he broke up with her, and he doesn't want to be in this marriage. So there's that. So, ooh-wee. Like the video.
At least 20 House Republicans who have either said they're going to retire or not run again.
And Democrats also. And Democrats.
Right. Do you have any...
Well, why don't you mention them? How many Democrats are going to retire? How many Democrats?
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
I know, but why don't you tell me the number of Democrats, too? You tell me
Are you
about...
concerned about the narrow margins? And
No, I'm not concerned. I think we're going to do well.
Among them, and,
We will have the greatest economy.
Blakeman, who you know as well, is considering running for
We're going to have the
governor.
greatest economy in history. How many Democrats are retiring? How come you only know the Republicans, but not the
Because
Democrats?
I came prepared to ask you a question about...
No, you're unprepared because you should know the Democrats. You're totally unprepared. Go ahead.
And I just have a quick question. There's at least 20 Republicans.
Is he like that with the men too, or is he only like that with the females? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video. Okay, I can't play this either, but I'm going to tell y'all what Ray J's talking about. Ray J went for allegedly. Okay, and then I have to watch the words too. So Ray J has been talking about the Diddy situation and why people stay in that situation and not remove themselves. They continue to go back. So Kim's been trending. Of course, many people have been questioning her parenting in regards to North, trending with the North, putting North around famous people to trend. I guess she just recently did some kind of thing on TikTok, and I guess she copied that lady too. What is it about the Kardashians not getting their own creative ideas? Why do they have to copy so many people within 1 year? Have you ever noticed that? They copy a lot of people, ideas, concepts, and they can almost get away with it because some of these creators are so small. They don't have time to do a lawsuit with the Kardashians. They just don't have the finances. They're focusing on the business and the creative side. Why are the Kardashians always copying people? Kim's been getting a lot of backlash in regards to putting North in media, not putting North in sometimes in a favorable light. She thinks it's okay. Many people called her out. She's been getting backlash, and now she likes to. About 2-3 years ago, she would try and trend and go viral with people that were trending going viral. It was kind of creepy that she was going where they were to trend with them, whether it was Usher, whether it was Katy Perry, whether it was Adele, wherever they were trending and viral, Kim wanted to be there. And it was kind of creepy to where, okay, Kai Cenat's trending. Kanye went there. Okay, Kim wants to go there. Okay, this person's trending. She wanted to go. Now, the Usher thing didn't trend, so she went back with Chloe and Kimora Lee Simmons. But these Kardashians, it's interesting how every week they're trying to trend. It has to be exhausting. Remember how she was trying to blame Kanye for her stress? But it's like you were studying for the bar. That's the stress. Allegedly, Kim was saying she was allegedly studying for almost 10 hours a day. That's stress in itself. You understand? You decided to marry that man. Kanye is not the Kanye from 15, 20 years ago. And those Kardashian women, they like men that can bring media issues. The unhealthy relationships are oozing out. Kim Kanye concerning, Kim Pete concerning, Chloe Tristan concerning, Chloe Lamar concerning, Kylie and Tyga situation concerning, Kylie Travis Scott situation concerning. Kylie, I knew Kylie was gonna pop out and be with Timothy again. I knew it. They were just spotted in some kind of orange outfit. But I knew Kylie was going to pop out with Timothy again. I knew it. But why doesn't Timothy want to be around the K's and the J's? I didn't recall Timothy went to Chris's party. And maybe he was there and he just didn't take pictures. Maybe. Was he there for Thanksgiving? So Timothy wants to do what Timothy wants to do. And Kylie's just going to have to deal with it. But many people are saying Kim is going from North possibly to now the Sun, possibly, to try and trend and go viral. I've been seeing different videos. I just haven't talked about it. And then this picture with Chloe and Britney Spears, many people were saying Candace Owens called out Kim and Britney. And that's why Kim and Chloe wanted to be around Britney. Because think about it. They weren't trying to be around Britney prior to Candace calling them out. So look it up. Look up the video. Candace Owens calls out the Kardashians and Britney. I can't confirm or deny what she said is factual or not. But Candace Owens did call out the Kardashians and Britney. So there's that. Videos, you guys come in, like the video. I don't know what she's trying to say. Sometimes people may have thyroid issues, so I can't confirm or deny if that's an issue. So this is the issue.
Misinterpreted. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially, but they have a new word. You know, there was affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now they never
be respectful in the comments. Who gets on somebody's page and says that? Who gets on somebody's page and says that? What is wrong with people? Are you okay? That's kind of sad that you would get on somebody's page and say that. Like the video. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video as y'all come in.
You know, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpreted. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We've also said. You know what? We have 3 years and 2 months to go. And you know what that is in Trump time? 3 years and, you know, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpret
like the video,
it.
like the video.
He doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We've also said. know what? We have 3 years and 2 months to go. And you know what that is in Trump time? 3 years and, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people.
Like the video, like the video. Let's get the likes up. There's 75 people in here and 15 likes. The likes should match the views. Continue to thumbs up the video. Don't forget, also hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. But press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. Let's continue. Yeah, many people are, yeah, that's tape. That's not a thong, it's tape. So I don't like people trying to shade Shador. I don't like it. It was tape, and he talked about he was taped up regarding, okay, Kylie Timothy. I told y'all Timothy's here to help clean up Kylie's image. Why do Timothy needs to be there to clean up Kylie's image? One, the Travis Scott situation. One, the Tory Lanez situation. Kylie was the one that threw the party. Now, she wasn't in the car when that situation happened, but did Kylie get on the stand? Did Kylie go to court regarding that situation? She threw the party. Why wasn't Kylie there for the person that threw the party? Shouldn't she have been a part of Tory Lanez's case? I mean, she was the one at the party. Wouldn't they have put her on the stand? How much alcohol did they intake? Can you tell me who was serving them? Were they serving themselves? Were they drinking champagne? Were they drinking wine? Why didn't they ask her questions in the Tory Lanez case? Everybody asked that question, and I'm wondering why she just did not have to take the stand. I don't recall seeing her take the stand, and I don't recall any YouTubers talking about her being on the stand. And go look up everybody that sat with the police. It'll be interesting for you to listen to everybody that sat and talked with the police. You'll be surprised what was said. But here nor there, they're matching. I knew Kylie and Timothy was going to be spotted together. I knew it. That's what the Kardashians like to do. They like to put out stories, and then they like to pop for Kylie and Timothy. They like to put out stories, whether they're together, broke up. They'll do it again. This is what they do. They won't be spotted for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Timothy's busy. They won't be spotted for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they pop up. Did he show up to her birthday party? Not sure if we saw pictures for that. Did he show up for Thanksgiving? Not sure if they show pictures for that. And did he show up for Kris Jenner party? Not certain if they show pictures for that. And then, how is he with Kylie's children? Is he around the children, or is Kylie just having fun? To help change the narrative. So there's that. Yeah. There's that. Like the video, like the video. Like the video as you guys come in. So this is him asking about.
A lot. Well, we all want to know something. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm about to ask.
This is Shiloh.
Yes.
Shador's brother.
Was he actually wearing a thong? Yes, bro. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I got like 10 calls about that this morning, bro. Can you put it into this investigation and find out for us if Shador was actually wearing a thong? Let's cut to the business, bro. Did you wear a thong or not? Come on, bro. What's going on with you, bro? You forgot I had a little back injury, right? So I get my back taped. But that is crazy that it did look like that. That's funny though. I know you wasn't wearing no thong, bro. You would do nothing like.
See, I told you it was tape. Okay, is there anything else I want to cover right now? We're just doing hot topics, trending topics. I told y'all the Kardashians like to trend with famous people. Anything to trend, go viral. Anything to trend to go viral. Right now, Kourtney is the one sister that's married. They don't celebrate Kourtney being married, but if Kim was married, they would try and celebrate that. How they treat Kourtney is very interesting. How they treat Khloe is very interesting. How they treat Kim is very interesting. How they treat Kylie is very interesting. How they treat Kendall is very interesting. Kim loves to trend and go viral. I'm surprised people don't call that out more. I would play this video, but Kylie's not broken up with Timothy. She's not. He is talking about a ring that she's wore before, though. But she's not broke up with Timothy. They're still hanging out.
The government's lane, but I like to take care of it. Hello. Somebody's
So I don't know what that person was doing. I don't know what that room is. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Okay, I don't know what Deion Sanders has on. Most men's jackets are normally long. I don't really care for it. Deion Sanders knows how to dress. I'm not liking this. I don't like the short sleeve. When men wear short sleeve for an outfit, I'm not feeling it. Not. I like Shadora's blue though. I like Shadora's blue. I like Shiloh. But yeah, I don't really care for a short sleeve. I don't know what it is. Somebody should have told. Deion can dress, period. Maybe he was going for something new, but it is what it is. Okay, was there something else?
People love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black. Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy. Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy. Let me tell you.
The lies they tell. Our culture is not one of the biggest that knows a scam. That's not true. But we'll keep moving. So here nor there, the Kardashians like to trend, go viral. Kim continues allegedly copying people. They did show other people that wore matching outfits. Kylie, Timothy wasn't the only ones that they showed. Britney Spears, they showed a bunch of different outfits. But yeah, Kylie definitely needs Timothy to trend, go viral, and to help clean up her image. Real talk. Timothy, wrap it up. Wrap it up. Because a lot of these women are not with the baby fathers. A lot of the women are not with the baby fathers. Kim's not with Kanye no more. We get it. Khloe's not with Tristan anymore. We get it. Kourtney's not with Scott anymore. We get it. Kendall has dated several. I heard some information about Kendall, but I gotta see if it's 3 sources first. But yeah, the Kardashians love to date. The mom can be in a whole relationship for years and years and years, but those girls are expected to date. Real talk. So here nor there. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1971. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Everyone have a great day. Be blessed. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's about 65 people in the building. 55 people. Please hit the subscribe button. If all 55 hit the subscribe, that'll be a great day for me. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Goodbye.